Thank you for tuning in to Gail Scott Key's Entertainment Now with my co-host, Krystina Millsaps. Krystina, you know that I love the oldies music. And when I think of oldies, I think of the Drifters. Remember that? You know, with
Yes,
Clyde McPhatter, my
yes.
ultimate fave, Under the Boardwalk. I'm not going to sing it and embarrass myself. How about Save the Last Dance for me? Now, what is your favorite, Krystina?
I mean, I think one also that everyone knows, Stand By Me. I mean,
Oh,
it should be like a national anthem, I think,
yes.
right? We all need that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know something, like I do, all the artists who have done the different renditions of Clyde McPhatter's songs. But you know something? No one can do it better than our special guest who is joining us right now. That's right, Ronn McPhatter, the son of Ruth Brown, the queen of rhythm and blues, and Clyde McPhatter of the Drifters, both Rock and Roll Hall of Fame alumni. And in 2014, Ronn McPhatter, well, he released something that will just soothe your soul. It's Want Your Lovin', which you can view on YouTube as the rhythm is smooth and his voice captivatingly mesmerizing. What am I saying? He's here, the real deal. Ronn McPhatter, we are honored to have you here with us tonight.
You guys are. I was wondering, were you talking about me? I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yes, we are.
who is that person? Yeah,
Yes.
You.
thank
Well, there's so much to get to, so we're just gonna jump right in and we have to know all this information, okay, Ron? So
Okay,
all right. We've already mentioned that your parents were legendary performers. And one of the cool things that I also found out was that the government sponsored a bill to make your mother a national treasure, and your father had a postage stamp.
that's
So even with that in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like Gail already mentioned, you certainly didn't ride their coattails to your amazing career. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
actually, it was just kind of one of those things that you're heading that way, but you don't know it because I didn't realize that everybody around me was important. I didn't know they were big time singers and actors. They were just my mom's friends, or what I call my uncles and aunts. Is Jackie Wilson, The Temptations, Little Richard. They were just there. That's who my family was. And then later, as I got older, then everybody's going, "That's Little Richard." That's Jackie. I'm like, what? No, that's Uncle Rich. But it was just something that became. My mom said, if you're going to do it, you do it because you like it, not because you're trying to be rich or anything. She said, because it's a hard journey. You have to do it because you love it. So I found out that I loved it. So I just kept on trying.
Well, we love that you love it because we love your music, we love their music. And I told Krystina, I think that the artists like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston took a wink from your mom because she would just do that. I can't even do that little high pitch. And that's what starts it. That's why we love the heritage of music. But you've toured with many of artists as well, Bonnie Raitt, Rick James, and of course, the tribute that we were talking about with your famous father, playing fan faves like I said, Under the Boardwalk and on Broadway. What was that? What is that like for you, catching that essence of your father in those performances? Uh-huh.
It's amazing. It's absolutely wonderful because it makes me feel so proud. A lot of people sometimes they'll say things like, I want to make it on my own and all of that. And I couldn't care less. You want to do something. My parents gave me an opportunity, and all they ever said is, I'll open the door. Now you have to step through and be able to handle it. So I knew that it would still come down to me either having talent or not. So I would just practice and practice and practice. And once I got the opportunity, I found out I was half decent at it.
A little more than half decent.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. Absolutely. And you remind us of a guest that we had, Heather Hayes, Isaac Hayes' daughter. She said the same thing. I love the fact, and that's the difference between the generations, because as we were raised, our parents were like, you need to earn that bed that you're sleeping in, the food you're eating in my home. And it's like, what? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I toured with my mom with BB King and Bonnie Raitt, and I opened the show. And she said, I'm going to give you this opportunity. Don't embarrass me. So I was like,
No pressure.
okay,
No pressure.
yeah, she was to the point. It was like, yes, I love you, you're my son, but no, this is business. So, know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
again, do it because it's something you love. So I did.
Well, we love the fact that you are just grounded, and that's what we need to see more of, because I think sometimes that can get lost in some generations. They completely rely on, the technology instead of getting into the studio. And I've spoken with several artists about this, but let's not limit you. You're not in a box, because I understand that you did some singing with Academy Award winning and beautiful actress Halle Berry in Why Do Fools Fall in Love? And
Yeah.
let's take it further. You also starred in Shake, Rattle, and Roll with Renee Zellweger. And
Yeah,
then you went on to do more films about the Temptations. And let's just wrap this up and give hugs. Red Fox, who is my late father's best comedic actor. So you've
you
done
have done your homework. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
We're
Your
fans.
father,
We're fans.
Keanu Reeves.
yeah.
No, that uh, you have to realize that I learned from my parents watching them when things weren't going so good for her, what she had to do to keep us safe and things going. She never gave up on anything. So she said, basically, her statement was that the more irons you have in the fire, the better. So I realized that I could sing. So I wanted to learn how to dance and act. And these opportunities from these beautiful people I met, I got these chances. And then that's how I got to start acting. And I got the part for Why Do Fools Fall in Love? I was out touring with Rick James at the time.
Mm.
And, they just came in, knocked on my door and said, they're trying to reach you for an audition. And I was like, uh-huh. I thought they were playing, but he wasn't, and I got to Reuben Cannon, who's a major casting agent in Hollywood. And I mean, I went in, it took all of 10 minutes. He looked at me and said, can you sing something for me? He put me against a wall. I sang Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. 2 days later, they were on the phone like, will you do it? Because if you will, we're going to cast the other people to look similar to you.
Yeah.
And I got to be Tony Williams of the Platters. And it was amazing. But the crazy thing is, there's something nobody else knows. When we were filming, I was playing Tony Williams of the Platters, but there was a group playing the Drifters in the movie, and an actor playing my father and an actress playing my mother. And I used to just go, wow, this is this is unbelievably crazy.
Oh, you're getting heavenly hugs. Oh.
Hey, I when you're blessed, you're blessed. I realized how lucky I was, In fact, one of the producers sent an AD over and said he wanted to speak to me. So my me thought, I'm getting fired. I don't know what I did, but I'm getting fired. So we were filming the scene where we were singing with Halle, and I came down off the stage, and I thought he was gonna give me a note about how to do something or tell me I was doing something wrong. And he said, you're doing a really good job. Proud of you. Great. He said, but you know what? You remind me of someone. And I just looked at him and I said, really? He said, yeah, there's a singer, Clyde McPhatter. Have you ever heard of him?
They didn't know?
Oh, I didn't say anything to anybody. Like I said, I'm there doing my job, and once that came out, then they realized that 2 days later, Richard was in the movie too. So he was coming to the set. And I kept saying, that's my uncle. And they kept saying, yeah, right. And I said, no, Richard is my uncle. And they were like, sure, whatever, kid. And I said, okay. So Richard came to the set. He was getting his makeup done. And what they do is take your pictures so that your clothes match in different scenes when you shoot. Yeah. And they had my picture up on the little, it was like a little Polaroid. Oh my goodness. He got up, looked at the picture, and said, that's my baby. Where is he? Somebody go get him right now. Oh my God. And she came to me, and the same lady that didn't believe me, she said, Richard wants to speak to you. And I said, who wants to speak to me? She's Little Richard. I said, I've heard that name. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with you, because you're asking me nicely, but I don't know a Little Richard.
What a wonderful way. You're so humble. You are
yeah,
so humble. And that's what I love about the artists who have been raised by legendary performers, because let's just hold your parents up.
thank you.
If it wasn't for them, the artists of today would not exist.
That's the truth.
They broke barriers through the racial divide, everything else that was coming their way. And your mother was so eloquent and just so vivacious. But
Thank
in
you.
those days, it didn't matter. They still had them come around in the back and stuff. And you know, I just, I can't tell you the honor of having you on the show. I can't share enough of my gratitude for the lineage, the blood lineage that your
Wow.
parents laid down for all of our listeners, viewers, and your fans. I mean, let's give them props. They are
Thank
so
you.
deserving, and we are so honored. And you
You guys
know,
are not gonna make me cry. That's not gonna happen.
oh, come on
Not
now.
gonna
One
do
of
that.
those shows.
I'm not gonna do it.
Ron.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so
There
much.
is so much.
We do shows, and I got to a point that I just gave up. And what I mean, give up, is that when we finished the show, I've had people come up after the show and say, "Oh my God, Clyde, I saw you in 1952." And I was like, no, that's my dad. They're like, yeah, whatever, Clyde, it's okay. And I just said, okay.
Yeah,
I just,
just roll
yeah,
on.
I'm like, yes. Did you enjoy yourself? It was great.
Yeah.
Good,
Oh,
good.
And then are you like, wait, how old do you think I
How
look?
long did I look good for like
yes,
80? I'm
right?
doing but it makes them happy. So I'm just, whenever they hear the song, it takes them back,
Yeah.
and it's been that way. Like I said, traveling with my mom and opening for BB and with Bonnie, I would
Yes.
be standing in the side of the wings watching
Mhm.
real professionals. Like, I'm trying to be a sponge. Oh, I like that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Oh, that's how you do it. And when you're around that atmosphere, that's not something everybody gets to do. So I
That's right.
realized how lucky I was. And I said,
Yes.
it's school on the,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
school training. So I was blessed and happy. And as you said, one thing I found out, it seemed the bigger the star, the cooler they were. It was,
Yeah.
it always seemed to be, let's just say, younger people coming up trying to make their mark. And of course, you're trying hard to make your mark. But
Mm.
there were always the ones that were, do you know who I am? And had an attitude. When BB and Bonnie and
Yes.
Julio Iglesias, they were just like, nice to meet you. How are you? Anything I could do to help you? Because
Yeah.
Julio, he didn't walk, he floated. He kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
just,
I
oh,
bet.
Julio's here. And he just floated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
to
goodness.
have that opportunity to be around amazing and super, that's because of my parents,
But I love the fact, and I'm sure when you were performing with BB King and Bonnie Raitt, I am so sure that that gentleman turned on his heels and took a look at you up and down. What were some of the takeaways of cherished, promissory visions that he had of you that he shared with you?
Okay. Wow. You like you hitting
Mm,
special notes right now. Okay.
Good.
We were at the Westbury Music Fair, and I was raised in Long Island. So this was a big theater there. So I was tripping because I'm at the Westbury Music Fair. I pass it every day when this is where you go. If you make it, you play the Westbury. But when I opened the show, this one particular time, because the stage rotates, it was one of those. And I'm on there singing, and it rotates. And as I'm singing, I look and I can see BB standing in the aisle watching. And I had never really noticed that before. So when I came off, he put his arm around me and he said, "You're not going to take my job." I said, well, I didn't know what to say. I just said, "Thank you for even noticing me." Then I said, "Can I play Lucille?" And he said, "Don't touch her." But it was the humanity, the niceness. I don't even know the word, just the realness of what it is. He had been through so much. That artists from that era, they went through some mess.
Yes.
Things that I've never experienced, like my
Yes.
mom and Jackie Wilson in the back of a hearse they were in the caskets because the Klan was marching. That's how they got them out of town. I mean, stories my mom would tell me, I would be like looking at her going, that's not true.
Wow.
And I'm like, that can't be true. And she's looking at me like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Singing, and the rope is down the middle of the place, and the white people on one side, the black people on the other, and everybody's partying, having a great time. And next thing you know, the rope falls. They actually did that in the 5 Heartbeats. They recreated that scene. And the cops would come in and stop everybody, stop the music, and said, put the rope back up. Now you can go back. It was crazy.
Isn't it good to know that this day, now everybody, you've got every artist of every inflection, every race paying homage to your parents. That rope, my dear, came down and it is stepped upon and staying down.
Set on fire. I hope so.
Yes.
I see on the internet little kids, all different races, all over the world. They start singing some stuff, and I'm like, wait, what? How did they? I'm listening to them. I'm like, wait, where did they learn that?
Yes.
It's what you hear. It's what you're exposed to, not how you're born.
Yeah.
And that, to me, you could take 2 twins, and if you give them different experiences, I believe they'll grow up different people, depending on who. And that was my experience, is that from my parents, BB and Bonnie and the Temptations and all the people, Sam, I got to secondhand live what they went. They wanted me to have a better life than they did. So they schooled me on it. Listen, this is that. Then you couldn't always go in here and do blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
My mom's name was on the marquee in Vegas, her and my father. They were on the marquee like 90 feet tall, but they couldn't come through the front door. They had to come in the back, no dressing, it was like stuff that I'm like, wait, what now?
Yeah. Yes.
I was so naive to it because I didn't live that experience. But then again, I can empathize what it must be to be homeless, but I've never been homeless. So I can only feel what that must like. But they lived it. So I just realized that it's just so much better now. And hopefully it'll get even better.
Yes. Change is going to come. Change is going to come.
She's good at her job.
Yes. Well, Ron, we know earlier before we started the show, we were all talking about how Gail and I love your I Want Your Lovin' song that came out to 2014. And that we still want to just throw out there that we want to be the dancers in the next video.
Okay.
But with all of this lineage and all of this initially starting and being the OG of like R&B and blues and stuff, we know that a little birdie has told us that you are part of the National R&B Music Day. That's coming up. And so we were just so interested in hearing your perspective and a little bit of history about how it came about. When did it begin? Who created it? What do you personally feel about it? And when is it actually happening?
Well, it actually was the brainchild of Miss Star Carr, and I believe she started it November of 2021. It's a day of celebrating what they say rhythm and blues music. I mean, people love to give a name to something, but this is just the feeling, how rhythm and blues is something my mom always say, well, that's my music because that's what Ruth Brown means. R&B, you can't say rhythm and blues without
love it.
But the first celebration, I believe, was it's the first March of each year. March the 5th of 2022 is the first time they did it, and everybody locally and where they try to celebrate what they feel R&B music has done to them through picnics, ceremonies, whatever they can do to unify the how wonderful rhythm and blues is and what kind of effect it is on it. So it's an amazing thing that she started. It's funny that she would do that because my mom, she created the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, which is the foundation they give artists money that they haven't gotten their correct, let's say, money from their contracts and things. My mom got that started in 1988 when she settled with Atlantic Records for her past due royalties. Now, what she could have done is just got hers and went on, but she didn't do that. She said, if I'm getting mine, I want everybody to get theirs. So she started the foundation, her and Howell and Bonnie helped, and it went on to become, now that my family still sits on the board of directors. My cousin is actually the board, right? So medicine, food, anything artists need to help them, the Rhythm Blues Foundation is for that. And very proud that, that's something that my mom started, so.
That's amazing.
And both she and my father are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes. And my father was they call it the Clyde McPhatter Club because he's the first man inducted twice. He was inducted in 1987 as a solo artist, and then 88 as the creator and foundation of the Drifters. And my mother was inducted in 93. So big shoes to fill and a lot of history there that,
I love it. I love
it's amazing. Yeah, but Miss Carrigan, she's got a great idea. And it's the first Saturday of every March is when they try to do it. So trying to make it bigger and doing better. And it will. She's a good lady. She's a good person.
We are wrapping our arms around that event for you all and spreading the word. So we will make sure that it gets out there and everybody notices it. And I want to make sure that we circle back with you, my friend, because as we mentioned, you had the 2014 release of I Want Your Lovin'. And let me tell you, hop onto YouTube, not right now, because we're in this important and awesome interview with Ronn. So don't go anywhere. But after, check it out, because Ronn is so smooth. And in the dance, I'm like, okay, we're going to be doing this. We are going to be doing this.
Little steppers
yes,
group. Yeah.
Yes. I just love how you just come on. They're in a dance room, and it's just everybody's warming up, and Ronn's just like coming out with his voice, and I was like, excuse me, I don't even think I heard my husband's voice. I'll just tell you, I didn't.
Don't get me in trouble.
There's probably been a lot of that with that song.
Yeah,
it's want to talk to you.
I mean, the biggest thing that my mom told me, and a close friend, and it's not dropping it, is Jeffrey Osborne. I'm a Luther and Jeffrey fanatic, and she surprised me once on my birthday. Yeah, I was at my mom's house and doorbell rang. She said, "Get the door, it's for you." So I said, sure. I went, open the door, and there's Jeffrey with his wife. And I said the craziest stuff. I said, "Do you know who the bleep you are?" And his wife is laughing. Sherry's cracking up. I said, "You're Jeffrey Osborne." So yeah, you have that type of thing. But they said that if you're going to do something, you want people to recognize you for you. You want to create, not imitate. And I know that sounds simple. So, I mean, I'm very proud that everybody and their grandmas claiming they were drifters and doing this stuff. And I'm a this and I'm a that. And I'm like, okay, sure. My dad is important because you're spending your life imitating what he created.
Exactly.
So when I was doing my own music, I had to find my own voice, which is what Jeffrey said. Because when he left LTD, of course, I was like, "Hey, man, give me the hookup." I want to. He's like, "No," and I'm mad. I'm like, "Wait a minute, you can put me." He's like, "You don't want to do that. All you'll be doing is imitating what I've done." He said, "You need to be out there creating and being yourself. If they like that, then you'll have a career." So, and my mom's just shaking her head going, "I told him that, he'll listen to you, but whatever."
Well, it's true, and especially with me coming from the oldie station, we played your father let me tell you, there are fans, even up here in the Boston area, there are huge fans. So let me tell you, as we wrap up, and I know the time is always going by so quick, and that just means you have to come back. You have to come back.
Please, just invite me, ladies. I'll be here. You guys are wonderful, beautiful ladies, so intelligent. Love this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The feeling is mutual, and we want to make sure we give you the last shout out of where fans can check you out, keep in touch on social media. We give to you,
You
Ron.
can check it out at the website, Ronn David Music. Well, the website is Ronn, RONN, David.com. And all of the links to the CMD, Clyde McPhatter's Drifters, and all of the videos and everything are on the website. And you can reach me there through the contact page. So ladies, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be here with such wonderful people. And now I've got 2 more friends. So I'm good.
Yes.
That's right. Yes,
I'm
you
adding
do.
it up as I go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the pleasure and honor is all ours. And as we said, we were excited about this, and we are excited to have you come back. And we are excited for all of you who are listening and tuning in. Please make sure that you take a visit over to YouTube, Want Your Lovin' by Ronn McPhatter. And let me tell you something, he is amazing. The music, you're going to love me. You're going to say, thank you, Gail, for recommending. Of course, you're welcome.
Check is
I
in
want
the
to thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
And after everybody goes over and they're all in a good mood and they've learned all the dance moves from I Want Your Lovin', come back to us and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel too. And you can find all these amazing interviews on our, and it just helps spread the word when you come and watch us, and you can get to know these people. And it's been such a pleasure talking to you, Ron. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron.
Meeting you. Thank you so very much.
Honor is all ours. Thank you.
How you doing? I get it right. How about that?
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to Gail Scott Key's Entertainment Now with my co-host, Krystina Millsaps, and our special guest, Ronn David McPhatter. We'll check you next time. Thank you.
All right. First question, Dr. Catania and Megan, who is the candidate for weight loss surgery?
So that's a question we could spend a lot of time talking about because there's a couple different answers. I'm going to give you a historic answer, and that is anyone with a body mass index over 40 or anyone with a body mass index over 35 who has obesity-related medical problems such as high blood pressure, obstructive sleep apnea, or diabetes. Now, those recommendations are based on a 1993 NIH conference, and they've been updated in 2022. And the updated guidelines actually state anyone with a body mass index over 35 qualifies for surgery, and anyone with a body mass over 30 who has diabetes, hypertension, or sleep apnea. Now, the newer guidelines are starting to be accepted by insurance companies around the country, but not uniformly so. So it really, based on science, I would say a BMI of 35 or a BMI of 30 and above with medical related problems. But based on most insurers, they're still following those older numbers. I think within the next year or two, everybody will get on board with the new recommendations.
This is a great question. What if someone has already had a surgical bariatric procedure and has regained the weight? What are their options?
You want to do that, Megan, or you want me to do that one?
Oh, sure. I'll give it a whirl. We actually do see a number of patients in our practice that have had previous surgery. One of the most important things about long-term success for these patients is following up consistently with a program, but that's not always an option for everyone. And so quite often we'll see people in the practice who are 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We actually had a person on the info session tonight who was, I believe she said 20 years out.
Yep.
The assessment is very similar in that first visit for those patients as it would be for anyone else, because we are treating a chronic and progressive disease. We learn as much as we can about the anatomy of their original surgery. Sometimes we do that with imaging. Sometimes we can get operative reports, because quite often the procedures themselves have changed over the years. We also want to know how successful they were, what were some of their challenges, if they had any complications along the way. And obviously, as people age, their bodies change, their medical history changes. And so we're looking for any new diseases that could have cropped up as well. Because these patients have a history of long-term micronutrient deficiencies, we also do a little bit of blood work to make certain that their supplements are working and they are in fact taking them. So the first visit is actually pretty powerful. We spend a lot of time learning about their history, learning about their lives, and quite often we discuss opportunities, if there are any, for revisional surgery, opportunities to treat their obesity with medications, but most importantly, we're getting them connected with a program again. So they have access to nutritional support, behavioral health support, and the support of the providers, because that is really probably one of the most important parts of that. And also, many patients feel that if they have regained weight or they haven't been as successful as they'd like to be, for some reason, it's a failing on their part. And so I do think that's an important part of that first visit, sort of sending that message home as well.
Yeah, I can't add anything. That was pretty much exactly all of it.
Good job. Good job. Okay. These
So-
are really great questions. Okay. This is like a Jeopardy question. What if you cook for the family and you find yourself picking at the food you know you need to be mindful of? What are some great ways to avoid overeating when you're the chef?
So that is a super hard question, but I think a really, important question, because I think millions of people experience that every day.
Mhm.
So I actually have polled a lot of different people about different answers. So I'm going to give you some of the different answers I've heard for this, because there's no one size fits all. But number one, if the person has obesity, make sure that their obesity is treated, right? Because people who are on weight loss medications or people who have weight loss surgery have less of a desire to snack and to pick. And so it may just be that you have uncontrolled obesity and we need to control that. But other tips to help people in that situation, you could, the most interesting one I heard someone say was wear a mask while you're cooking, because if you're wearing a mask, it makes you stop and it really makes you think about what you're doing. And then there are some other tips that we use all the time, like drink a big bottle of water while you're cooking, and that will take away some of your hunger. Or snack on something healthy like a handful of nuts before you start cooking. That way you won't feel so hungry and you won't feel so much desire to snack.
I have to ask one question. I just have to say one thing, especially the success of this surgery, where it's designed to keep you successful. I cannot overeat. I just, even if I wanted to, I can't. I might have like a desire, like being hungry, but I find out the water that you said is absolutely correct. I'll have a few nuts, but not too much. But this is just like, all I think is I don't want to stretch my pouch and I'm being called a kangaroo.
Stretch my pouch.
Yeah, that the surgery is very, very powerful. So it does give you that advantage.
Those are great tips though, because I also find myself, I'm starving when I'm cooking sometimes. And
right, don't cook hungry and don't shop hungry either.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah. Then I find and don't shop with your teenage children.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. How long does it take to hit one's goal weight after bariatric surgery?
Go for it, Meg.
Well, the goal weight is different for every patient. When we do our initial assessment, we use the body mass index of 25 to work backwards to determine what the ideal weight is. But most of us don't like the term ideal because humans are not meant to be standardized. Many of our patients, their goal weight is not the one we perhaps would have chosen for them. They see quite a bit of weight loss in the first 3 months. And for many patients, the majority of it, the fastest weight loss is in those first 6 months. Typically a year out, you're still seeing some, but it does start to sort of slow down at that point. It's also very variable, though, I've noticed with patients based on their nutritional habits and most importantly, their level of activity. That seems to play a really big role in their success in terms of their weight loss. Most people, I would say, within the 3-month visit are really happy. At 6 months, they love seeing us and we love seeing them. I actually get jealous sometimes if I see someone on Rob's schedule that I was hoping to see. So yes, I would say first 6 months is the most impressive, but then still as far as a year out, they're still seeing really good weight loss.
Yeah, and I would just echo the importance of the activity. And I think Gail may have mentioned that earlier. You know, the patients who stay active, who are walking or who are going to the gym or who have joined a club, they're biking or they're hiking or just anything that keeps you moving, they see weight loss that can keep going for, over a year.
And I have to say, I just wanted to say, I did buy a treadmill that can go underneath my desk. So I'll be walking and talking. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
And maybe a little dancing too.
Yes. Yes, with all the music from all the guests that we interview. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that leads us to the last question, which is why is walking so important for bariatric patients?
Yeah, so really walking or any type of activity is really important. We choose walking often for our patients because sometimes with obese patients, it's hard for them to do things like running or go to the gym. They may feel self-conscious at first. And walking you can do anywhere, even in your house or around your neighborhood. But activity is crucial. We limit the amount of calories people can take in with the surgery. Or with the medications, people lose some degree of appetite. They feel less desire to eat, but that doesn't necessarily help their metabolic rate. And so you can drop the calories in, but what we also want to do is continue burning calories and maintaining a high metabolic rate. So having good muscle tone and being very physically active burns those calories off so that the weight loss will continue. And then really importantly, so that the weight loss will sustain, right? Because it's not just about losing weight, it's also about maintaining that weight loss. And so everybody will hit a weight loss plateau at some point. And once they do, a lot of people feel like, well, I'm not losing weight anymore, so I don't need to exercise. And that's not correct. When you hit that plateau, that just tells you that your in and your out are balanced. And so you should continue being active forever so you can keep that balance in check and you don't start to see weight gain down the road.
And for all of our patients, I think resistance training of some kind or weight-bearing exercise is really good for your bone density, helps to maintain your posture. And that's an important part as well of overall health and functional fitness. And that is the real reason why we're doing this, so people can live longer, be functional, be healthier.
For more information, or if you have a question for Dr. Rob Catania and Megan DeSantis, please send your questions to weightmanagement@snh.org. That is Sam, Nicole, Henry, Sam, just in case. So we're going to have a health minute coming up for you every month at the end of the month. So stay tuned for more with Dr. Rob Catania and Megan DeSantis.